Good morning, everyone. All right, happy Wednesday. It is November 1st. The year is moving along. We got 2 full months left till the end of the year. What's your typical contract cycle? So, writing a contract for a buyer or for a seller, what is your average contract cycle that you're seeing? So if you wouldn't mind chatting, just tell me what, the last couple of contracts you wrote, how many days did you have for a closing? So what are some of those, just so we can make sense of this? I know we all know this, but let's just make it real. How many days were the last few contracts that you wrote till closing? 35 to 40? Okay. Who else? Nobody else writing contracts? I know you are. I know some of you are. 30 to 45. The last few. What else were they? Anybody else? 30 days, 30 to 45. Okay. So typical 30 to 45. That's what we're seeing. How many days in the month of November? 30. Okay. How many days in December? 31. You have 61 days. That means you got about, for a 30 to 45 day closing, you've got about 15 days left to write a contract to close before the end of the year, but that might not be enough depending on your lender that you're using. Some lenders required, if your buyer is approved through like Wells Fargo, USAA, Navy Federal, a lot of them are requiring 45 days. They won't guarantee any contract prior to 45 days. They'll close it sooner than that sometimes, but they won't guarantee it. But what do we have between now and then? We have a holiday and Veterans Day, November 11th. So it'll usually be honored on the Friday before that because it's a Saturday this year. We have Thanksgiving, so that's a Thursday and probably the Friday after that too. Then we have Christmas, which is on a Monday, and then New Year's Day, which is on a Monday. So we lose the 30th and 31st of December because it's a Saturday, Sunday. So that's 1, 2, Christmas Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, day after thing. You lose 6 days between now and then. So really you don't have 60 days, you got 54. So you got 9 days to get a contract that's going to close by the end of the year if we're going off of a 45-day cycle. 9 days. How many people should you be talking to every day to generate the income that you're looking for or to have an opportunity for that? So we just got to start talking to people. So that's our goal. Today we're going to talk about, we're going to briefly give overview of, we're not going to get into detail on it. I'm not an attorney and I'm not, don't claim to be, and I'm not trying to speculate on anything, but we're just going to briefly talk about the commission lawsuit because it came out and all over. I'm a member of some, real estate groups, some mastermind groups, some other, other things that are on social media and emails going back and forth. Bombshell agreement, bombshell findings, commission lawsuit. So we're going to talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about Toys for Tots, and we're going to talk about just creating some clarity and focus because if there's something like that going on and it can captivate that much of your attention, then you are the manager of your circumstances, and that's not going to end up good. So we have to start focusing on becoming the creator of your life, and that's kind of what we're going to focus on today. So let's go ahead and start off with our with the main starting here. Toys for Tots. Really quick. In Hillsborough County, we are the main drop-off point here in Apollo Beach for Toys for Tots. And I know it doesn't apply. I know we have offices in Pinellas and you do your own toy drive over there. So I completely support and appreciate that. But for those of you who would like to get involved in the community in the Hillsborough County area, know of a business in the Hillsborough County area, what we're asking you to do is connect with a local business in the Hillsborough County area. We have Toys for Tots boxes that should be here. It should have got here yesterday or today. We got 150 of them, and we want to get them out to 150 different businesses. And we don't just want a toy drop box in their business. We want you to take it as an opportunity to do some joint marketing with that company. Just for example, there's a bar lounge called the Cigars on the Boulevard down here in Apollo Beach. It's a cigar lounge, liquor lounge, couple pool tables. It's basically a really nice upscale lounge. And we have 2 agents that partnered with them, and they're going to do a toy drive on one day. They'll have the Toys for Tots box out there, but they're going to do a toy drive specifically for one day. If you bring a new unwrapped toy, you get a raffle ticket. If you bring a brand new unwrapped bicycle, you get a free cigar and a raffle ticket. The raffle ticket that they're doing is going to be for local businesses that donate something. So you're going to get a raffle ticket and you'll win something from a local business that donated something. So they created an event like that. If you know of any local businesses that you can, excuse me, that you can partner with and create an event for, that you can do over a weekend, do a toy drive. Anybody who brings a toy in gets a free coffee or gets a $5 off their next visit to try to get them to come back. So we're just doing events like that with local businesses. Shoot some video, put it on social, get some exposure for you, get some exposure for the business. But this is about giving the gift. Give the gift back to some kids who may not have a great Christmas. And this is a wonderful opportunity for you to do that. We have a sign-up sheet if you for this area. Here's some businesses. Here's some businesses that have participated in the past that no one has claimed. So I have this list. If you are interested in participating and you're not in the Apollo Beach or Sun City, the South Shore area, shoot me an email. I will share this list with you. We would love all the participation that we can get to try to make this an outstanding, amazing event. This is the first year that Beggins Enterprises is taking on this event here. So we are responsible for doing this with the help of last year's sponsors. We are taking this on and we're going to be doing this moving forward. So we'd love your help. All right. Now, this is the next topic. Everybody's heard of most everybody's heard of this NAR commission lawsuit, home sellers. Here's just some brief points of it and what it was meant to do, where it came about. The jurors were asked to find whether home seller plaintiffs in a class action lawsuit had proved by a preponderance of the evidence that a conspiracy existed to follow and enforce an NAR policy known as the Cooperative Compensation Rule. Conspiracy existing that people were forced to follow a cooperative compensation rule, that a home seller pays a commission and shares it with a buyer's agent. Conspiracy to keep commissions higher and defraud home sellers and put them to a detriment by colluding against them and taking their money. The jury said yes, excuse me, and also found that the conspiracy had the purpose or effect of raising, inflating, or stabilizing broker commission rates paid by home sellers. The jurors found the conspiracy had caused the plaintiffs to pay more for real estate brokerage services when selling their homes than they would have without the conspiracy. Along with NAR, the jury found Anywhere, Keller Williams, RE/MAX Home Services of America, and 2 of its subsidiaries, HSF affiliates, BHH affiliates, were all implicated and acted with the purpose or effect of raising, inflating, or stabilizing broker commission rates paid by home sellers. What does all of this mean to you? Right now, nothing. What's going to change right now in your world? Nothing. People still going to buy and sell homes? Yes. So nothing changes right now. It's already said that the defendants, NAR has already said, we're going to appeal. The brokerages have already said, we're going to appeal. The appeal process basically goes and it raises it up another level. And they're going to try to take it to the highest level of courts for an appeal. That can take years. In the meantime, with the settlement that was proposed by RE/MAX, the settlement that was proposed by Anywhere, they agreed to change some of their business practices, which is basically make things more clear to home sellers what is being paid, who it's being paid to, and how it's being paid. If you've ever read any of our listing agreements, that's what they say. Ours has 2 separate line items for what they pay to us and what they are going to be paying to a buyer's agent. 100% clear that you are paying 2 commissions. No conspiracy, just commissions. It's pretty clear. Now, a lot of homeowners, they felt like they would not have had to pay that high of a commission, and the brokerages colluded together to keep commissions high so that the sellers had to pay them more money whenever they sold their homes. Okay. Well, I'm not going to get into opinions of the matter. We're just going to discuss what it means for you. What does that mean for you? Well, I put 4 things down here on the bottom, and I took these from this was Jared James had a quick talk, and yeah, it's an antitrust lawsuit. They're saying they don't basic public trust, antitrust. They cannot trust that this was done correctly. There was a conspiracy to keep the commissions high so that they had to pay more money. They wouldn't have had to pay that money if the conspiracy wasn't there. The brokerage's standpoint is there is no conspiracy. It's clear that we offer compensation. It's part of marketing, and this is what we are worth, and this is our value. This is the value we offer and provide, and part of our services is to make sure we sell the home, and this is how we do that. One quick point. If a home seller saves, let's just say, and this is not happening, but let's just say the home seller doesn't have to pay a buyer's agent commission when they sell their home. They save 3%. Let's just say they save 3%. If a home seller sells a home and saves 3%, is that home seller going to be homeless? No, they're not going to be homeless. They're going to buy another home, more than likely. And if they saved 3% because they didn't pay the buyer's agent on the sale of their home, because the buyer's agent paid their own buyer's agent, I'm just, again, pure speculation. When they go to buy the home, they're going to pay 3% when they buy a home. Did they really save anything? No. But this is something that was put in place, and lawyers took the opportunity. They see $2 billion, $1.7 billion payout. What's 33% of that? $600 million. Hey, that sounds like a good payday. Let's push after that. We feel there's merit, and then they start pushing forward. So, but what does it mean for you? Let's really just kind of reel it all in. What does it really mean for you? What does it really mean for you? Nothing. What we have to do is we have to get better at being a sales professional. A sales professional is someone who builds rapport, gets people to like them, know them, and trust them because they're a professional and they know what they're doing and they're good at what they do. And they're able to influence them to take the proper steps to get the job done. So right now, we need to relax. If you were on social media yesterday, I'm sure you saw a video of some kind, if you're a member of different groups, a video of some kind, a post of some kind. Real estate as we know it is over. The brokerages found guilty. This is a civil suit. It's not about guilt. It's about liable. They were found liable for the actions that they said happened, which means if they're liable for it, they have to compensate for, what the case said. It's not guilt, it's liability. They feel like they proved liability. The defendants now, the brokerages and NAR said, no, we don't feel that's the case. We want to appeal this and bring this to another level. So nothing's happening right now, but we have to start preparing. We have to start preparing to be better sales professionals. How do we do that? Well, when things get crazy, Warren Buffett says, when people are greedy, be fearful. When people are fearful, be greedy. Everybody is fearful right now. So you need to become greedy. And what do I mean by greedy? You need to sit down and say, all right, there's a lot of people out there who are not as professional as I am, who don't have the skills that I have, who don't have the support that I have, that don't have the training that I have. The people behind me that are going to spearhead a lot of the direction of where we're going to go with this to make sure that we stay afloat, to make sure that we are still one of the top brokerages out here, and we're going to continue to do real estate business. Nobody else has what I have. So I'm going to get greedy and I'm going to start learning as much as I can and become a master of my craft. And I'm going to go out and talk to as many people as I can, earn as many listings and buyers as I can. because no matter what happens with this, I will be prepared for it, because this is not going to stop people from selling homes. Even in the worst real estate time ever, there was over 4 million home sales. The worst real estate time ever, 2008, market crashes, everything went to hell. The bottom fell out of everything. Mortgages were this, that, and the other. There were still 4 million home sales. This is not going to create the worst real estate market ever. This is going to have some home sellers thinking that maybe they make a few extra dollars. People, maybe they're still going to sell. But there's a lot of agents who are not going to be prepared and not going to be professional and aren't going to practice their scripts, aren't going to pre-qualify correctly, aren't going to go through the right steps. So just relax. Everybody else is getting crazy right now. Everybody's sitting here throwing all this stuff in the wind. Sit back, take a breath, and relax. That's your first step. Next, be a pro and know how to communicate. Communicate your value to buyers and get a buyer agency agreement signed. That's something we're going to be talking about. So John, now the buyer will need to come up with down payment, closing costs, inspections, appraisals, and now commissions. John, no. Now nothing has changed. Now the buyer doesn't need to come up with anything new. Now there has been nothing that has changed. This is just something that they said, we believe this happened. The jury said yes. The defendant said, I don't believe that. We're going to appeal. That's not correct. And even if it does happen, it doesn't mean that a seller can't still offer to pay the buyer's agent commission, which a lot of them will still do. So now nothing changes. So stop panicking, stop worrying, stop getting all worked up and what's going to happen, how's this going to happen, and stop letting it affect how you're going to do business. People need to buy, people need to sell. The reality of the matter is we are seeing all of these headlines. We are seeing all these things because we're in the business. If you're not in the business, you're not seeing them. Home sellers, I would say a very strong majority of them have no idea what's going on here, haven't heard anything about it. So, business as usual, show up as a professional, understand your value, relax, show your value to the homeowner, show your value to the home buyers, provide that level of comfort to them, be the trusted advisor for them. Be very clear about what your value is, what your contracts say, and what our agreements are. Communicate that value, and we will start talking about the conversations with getting buyer agency agreements signed. That's going to be a part of our buyer class on November 29th. So November 29th is the buyer's class, conversation mastery related to buyers. How do we communicate with them? How do we get them to understand? How do we build trust with them? How do we talk about value? How do we talk about buyer agency agreements? How do we talk about negotiations? How do we talk them through right time to buy, wrong time to buy, taking your offer and structuring it correctly so that we might be able to get buy downs. That way you're not paying the monthly payment. It's not about your price. It's about your payment. We can work through that. That's what the buyer class will be. We're going to have some topics here related to that. So just pay attention. We're going to be taking on a different role to make sure that we address some of these things to keep your calmness levels down, but stay calm. Number 3, follow strategies daily to get listings to be in control of your local market. Do you realize that none of this matters if you have the listings? But the buyers aren't going to be able to afford commissions and the sellers aren't going to want to. If you get a listing, you don't have to worry about what the buyers to pay and who's going to pay it, how. You don't have to worry about that. You're able to talk to the people who need to sell homes. There's always going to be people who need to sell. There's always going to be people who need to buy. What are the 3 basic human needs? Food, water, shelter. It's always going to happen. Become a master at your listing presentation. Become a master at conveying your value to a homeowner. Become a master at your scripts. Become a master at building rapport and creating connection. Guess what class that's going to be? November 15th, Listing Conversation Mastery. That's what we're going to be discussing. Conversations with absentee owners, expired listings, and such. Conversations with homeowners about conveying that value. Making sure we stand up for that value. That's what we're going to be discussing. So, deep breath. Protect your own peace. Don't let this throw a huge wrench in your mix. Control what you can and take ground while others are distracted. While everybody else is out there going, what am I going to say to the seller when he says this? Most of them don't know what's going on with this suit. It hasn't changed anything. And most of them, when you talk to them, they understand the value that you provide. Then there's going to be some who need you to show up as the professional and convey the value that you provide. Make sure that you convey the value of having a cooperation with a buyer's agent and offering a commission. Make sure that you convey the value of your connection and communication with buyer's agents and how you relate to them to make sure that you put their property in the best light. Make sure that you stand up for your value and your commissions and how you earn them and what you do for them. So November 15th, that's some of the conversations we're going to be discussing. How to have the conversations with sellers to get in the door, how to have the conversations with them while you're following up with them, and how to have the conversations with them when they get to list on how to get them to like you, know you, and trust you more through that whole process and standing up for your value. That's what this November 15th class is going to be. And then November 29th for buyers, all encompassing around those. So relax. Nothing has changed. Nothing is changing, and probably nothing is changing anytime soon. We are going to continue to review those small changes that the Anywhere and RE/MAX have agreed to say that we will just change some of our business practices for more clarity. That's what's going to happen, which we feel that our business practices are very clear. We are full transparency. We've never been a brokerage who tries to hide anything like that. We are 100% clear. This is what this is for. This is how we do it. This is why we do it. And if we're going to do this, this is the way it works. This is how we should be doing it. We're going to be talking about that more. So relax. Is there any questions that anyone has regarding this, this lawsuit or what's come out? If you have questions, go ahead and chat them in. Let's just talk about them and get some things out of the way. Bottom line is we cannot panic. We need to stay balanced and help out our clients and add value to our clients. That's right. So again, it's going to be pushed up because if it bleeds, it leads. This is a bombshell from what everybody's saying. It's a bombshell. Look, there's plenty of other things that are happening that can affect your business. This is the least of them right now because you have a ton of value and you get to control the direction of your business. You have to make different decisions. So the next topic is, how do you become the creator of your life and not the manager of your circumstances? This is a circumstance that you can allow to get inside your head. This is one of those things that you can allow to get inside your head where you become the manager of this circumstances. But what about the lawsuit? What about the buyer's agent? What about the seller? What if they ask about this? What if the buyer asks this? What if that happens? I don't know what to say. I'm not sure how to do it. What if the buyer's asking me to kind of give this? What if the seller wants me to lower this and credit that? And you're going to get in your head and you are managing the circumstances that are going around. Stop. Take a deep breath. We need to become the creator of the life that you want. You need to show up as a different person. If you want something different, you have to show up different. If you want more, you've got to show up as more and provide more. And that's why we are here constantly doing these trainings for you. So how do you become the manager of your life, the creator of your life and not the manager of your circumstances? We're going to go through a series of questions just to create some clarity and focus, and hopefully that helps. But what are some of the circumstances? I've listed some on here. What are some of the circumstances that you have allowed to control your life in the last 6 months or 12 months? In this last year, 2023, chat in and tell me, what are some of the circumstances that you have allowed to control your life? What are some of them? Whether they're personal, whether it's macro, like global things happening, whether it's local things happening, whether it's personal things happening, whether it's economic things happening, political things happening. What are some of the circumstances that you have allowed to get in your way? Well, first of all, I'd ask, who here has done the exact amount of business that they want to do, that they said, look, I'm going to do this much business a year and earn this much income? Who here has done that exact amount of business? You can raise your hand. You can say yes if you have. Go ahead, raise your hand and say yes if you have. The exact amount of business that you wanted, or that you dreamed of and what you created for yourself. No, no. Got one person rate. Very good. I'm very appreciative of that. That's awesome. And if you haven't, what got in the way? What are the circumstances that you allowed to get in the way? Because this commission lawsuit is just another one of those types of circumstances. What are the circumstances you've allowed to get in the way? Please chat them in. Tell me what those things are so that everybody else, I won't call your name out. I got in my own way. How? What did you allow to get in your own way? So what are the circumstances you allowed to get in the way? Chat them in. Somebody tell me, what are the circumstances? Was it health? Health, got them worked out, feel good now. Not going to let them stop me. Personal, life and death, family health issues lasted 6 months, 100%. Distraction, what distraction? So what are some of the things that you allowed? Now, these are circumstances that you decided that you were going to focus and manage these circumstances rather than focus on the goals and the life that you wanted to create. And I'm not talking about just real estate goals. I'm talking about personal goals. I'm talking about the life that you wanted to create. This doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It just means that we acknowledge that there's things that are going to happen, and I allowed myself to get distracted for too long, and I need to get back on track, and I need to start creating the life that I want because I'm too focused on the circumstances that are coming to me. I'm not playing the hand that I was dealt. I'm bitching about the cards I got, wishing I got different cards. So we have to start being the creator of our life. So there's a lot of things going on. Market, the real estate market, that got in the way. That's a circumstance. What is the real estate market now? Well, we can make a ton of shit up. Real estate market is down, it's up, it's sideways. Nationally, statewide, locally, neighborhood, which one? Like there's so many of them. We can find one that's going to create a circumstance for us that would be a reason that nobody's going to sell. They don't want to talk to me. They're going to have an issue when I do talk to them. We heard some other ones the other day. Not enough snowbirds. Oh, wait, we'll get busier. This listing will get more traction when we have the snowbirds down. And we're just creating more circumstances that we have to manage. What else? I was depressed. I had health issues. My mindset was off. I'm taking a vacation this winter, and we're going to go on vacation over Christmas. So I got to start preparing now. And, I got to go shopping for clothes because it's in a different climate, and all I have is flip-flops and shorts. So I got to go buy something else. I got to take some time off for that. The holidays are coming up. My goodness, do you know that today was National Donut Day or National Spaghetti Day or National whatever day? So, I had to stop and do that. And then I got distracted because I was on social media. I had to take a picture of it and share it. And then somebody else commented on it. I had to talk to them in a while. There's a lot of things that pop up throughout our day, daily, and then macro as well, like bigger issues like, hey, I had a big health issue. There's a lot of things that pop up. My kids got in the way. My family got in the way. I was waiting for the feds to lower rates because, that's something that I can control, and I'm going to put a lot of energy into that. Yep. So there's a lot of things that you can focus on, but I'm asking you to decide that you want something more, that you deserve better than what you've been getting, and the only person to blame is you. It's not this commission lawsuit. It's not the market. It's not the feds. It's not the weather. It's not the snowbirds. It's not necessarily your health either, because I've seen plenty of people that have had health issues that worked through them and still were able to achieve those things. Now, this isn't me trying to berate you or to, tear you down because you had an off time or you did have some major health issues. This is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we always have a choice. We have a choice to decide what we are going to focus on. Does everybody believe that we have a choice to decide what we're going to focus on? Everybody believe that? If you do, raise your hand. Do you believe that we have a choice to decide what we're going to focus on? We have that choice. Got some people raising hands, more people raising hands. Yes, we have a choice to decide what we're going to focus on. 100%. Yes. More hands raised. Yes. Okay. So why, when I sit and talk with you, do you say that you say things like, yeah, but this happened to me and I couldn't control it. I didn't have a choice. They made me feel this way. This happened and it made me feel this way. This happened and then it created this that made me do this. You just said you decide, and realize that you get to decide what you focus on. Yet when we talk to you and ask you why you're not doing the level of business that you want, you tell us things like this on the screen: Feds, market, health, mindset, attitude, intent. I decide what I focus on. So why don't we start taking responsibility for our lives and say, I am where I am because of all of my decisions. It wasn't the traffic. It wasn't the feds. It wasn't the market. It wasn't this commission lawsuit. It wasn't that one wholesaler who wouldn't listen to me and lowers price. It wasn't any of those things. I decided that I was going to focus on those things and I'm responsible. So I will now today decide that I'm going to focus on something different. I'm going to focus on being the creator of my life and not the manager of my circumstances. We have to start making that decision. We all say that I realize that it takes money to run a business, 100%. So yeah, we all say that we realize we get to make our own decisions and we decide what we're going to focus on and we decide what we're going to feel, yet we don't live that. You know it, but we don't live that. For the same reason that every single one of you knows what it takes to get healthy. You can YouTube anything. You can YouTube what kind of diet to follow, what kind of workout to follow, how to do this in a gym, how to lose weight, how to be stronger, how to do any of those things. You can YouTube it. We know what it takes to do those things, but we don't do them. And we know that it's within our control, but we don't do them. So why? Why don't we do them? Anybody care to share why we don't do them? I mean, there's a ton of reasons why we wouldn't do them. Right? But what's your alternative? In this business, if you choose to focus on the negative and not focus on the positive, not focus on the things you can control, and you just decide that I'm going to allow everything else to run my life, what is your alternative? You're either going to decide to focus on your business, focus on yourself, focus on creating your life, or you're going to continue doing the same things that you're going to do, and you're going to end up possibly as an agent who's no longer in the business. Because if you want something different, you have to do something different. And if you're not getting the level of business that you want, we have to make different decisions. So I just have a lot of different thoughts here to go through, what are your choices? Your choices are quit. Don't do this anymore because it's too hard. It's too tough. This commission lawsuit's going to create a whole rift in the mix. Then the sellers aren't going to this and the buyers aren't going to that. And then you can quit. You can do that. Or you can decide that you're going to put the work in. I'm going to decide to be better. I'm going to decide that this is what I'm going to focus on. Because any other decision, in my opinion, is basically making a decision to quit. If you're not going to focus on being better, putting the work in, creating a schedule, choosing your focus, picking a lane that you're going to work in, creating a schedule for that where you're going to talk to a certain amount of people. If you're not choosing to focus on that, you're probably going to be someone who chooses to quit at some point. So make the decision to put the work in. This is what we're going to focus on. And both of them are going to be hard. I hear all the time, well, that's hard. Getting all these listings is hard. Talking to these sellers is hard. Putting all this time in is hard. Everything is hard. Working out, getting healthy, being fit is hard. I don't want to go to the gym every day. I don't want to lift those weights. I don't want to run. I don't want to eat right. I don't want to do those things all the time. But being overweight, unhealthy, and unfit is hard as well. I have to face the pains. I have to face the hurt. I have to face taking different medications, going to a doctor, trying to figure out what's wrong with me. They're both hard. Being a family, being married is hard. Getting divorced is hard. They're both hard. Doing the business is hard. choosing to focus on talking to people and picking a lane and showing up every single day when you're the only one who gets to make that decision and create your own schedule and tell yourself that you need to get your ass out of bed and go to work is hard. Showing up at a 9 to 5 and hating your life, driving through traffic every single morning, doing the same thing over and over and over again, and hating your boss and the person next to you, and being miserable with your life after a few years of doing that same thing over and over again is hard too. They're both hard. Quitting and doing something like that is hard. Showing up and putting the work in to be a successful real estate agent is hard. They're both hard. Choose your hard. You all told me that you get to decide what you're going to focus on. You get to decide the outcome of your life. You said we all know that that's our decision. We choose what we focus on. We chose what we get. We choose how we feel. All of you said that. So why not make the decision that they're both going to be hard? Which one would I like to choose? Because they're both going to be hard. So let me show up and do the hard things. Let me do the boring, hard things over and over and over and over and over again until those boring things become exciting. Because if the opposite is going to a 9 to 5, it's going to be new, it's going to be fun in the beginning, and you're going to start getting to the point where it's new and fun and everything, and then it's going to get boring. And those boring things are not going to become exciting because you're doing the same things over and over and over again. There's no end there. You don't get to control anything. At least here, you start off doing the boring things over and over and over again, the hard things over and over and over again. Then it becomes exciting because you meet new people, create new levels of business, create new levels of your life and income that you never had, start being able to achieve and do the things that you've always wanted to do because you have unlimited earnings potential in this business. Divorce was easier than the wedding. So much of this is fear, whether that be a success or a failure. We just need to find a motivation that works for us. If you're not sure, do some deep introspection. It's worth the time for an improved life and business, 100%. More difficult when you have ADHD. We struggle to stick to our tasks or decisions. Sometimes it's the mindset in general. 100%. You're all right. But you all just told me that you know that you decide what you focus on. You get to decide what you choose. You get to decide what to focus on, how you feel. You all just said, are you the creator of your life? Do you get to decide these things? You all said, yes, I believe that I get to choose what I focus on and choose how I feel. So if you're feeling any of those things, just acknowledge it. Just acknowledge that you get to choose that, and you chose that in this moment. And if you want a different outcome, you have to make a different choice. Now, I'm going to jump ahead. Here's what I really wanted to talk about. If you're having trouble deciding and choosing that focus, it's probably because you don't have a clear outcome of what you want. You don't have a clear vision and focus of what you want. So for the last 10, 15 minutes, this is what we're going to focus on, talking about some of these questions. If anybody wants any of these questions, there's going to be 2 or 3 slides of them. I will share them with you. This is really to help you get more clear on the emotions, on the feeling, and help direct the focus that you said you get to choose every single day. And if we're not making that decision and choice to focus on the things that we know we want, we're focusing on everything else. It's because you don't have clarity. It's because you don't have that focus. And here is where we can start to create some of this focus for you. If you really want to sit down and ask yourself these questions. So we can have a goal. Danielle shared, we have a goal for the end of the year. Yes, we'll have a goal for the end of the year, but we also need a bigger picture goal. You need a different versions of different goals. We need to have an ultimate vision for your business. So let's not talk about goals. Let's not say these outcomes. What is the ultimate vision you have for your business? How do you see your business going in 5 years? When's the last time you sat down and said, in 5 years from now, when I continue to show up in this way every single day and do everything that I know I can do with the support that I have behind me and the knowledge that I'm learning every day, this is what my business is going to look like in 5 years. I'm going to be doing this many deals every single year. I'm going to be selling properties in this area, in this price point. I'm going to have this many past clients. I'm going to be earning this much. I'm also going to have these other investments, these other offshoots of my business. I'm going to have different properties in different areas where now I have passive income because I learned about this, and this. What is your ultimate vision for your business in 5 years from now? Because on the simple side of it, when you get in your car to go somewhere, you have to have a vision of where you're going. I'm going to Publix. And you start to visualize how you're going to get there, which way, which traffic light, which road, am I going to this Publix or that Publix? You start to visualize it and you start to see it. And that's why you end up at Publix, because I'm going to Publix. And then you visualize going to Publix and you visualize the way you're going to get there. But we don't do the same thing with our business and our ultimate outcomes and visions that we have. So create the ultimate vision for your business in 5 years. And when you create that ultimate vision, your brain will start to work towards that. You'll inherently start taking some different steps, seeing things a little bit differently, being open to a couple different things, because now you've shown yourself this is something you want. It's the same reason when you buy a new car, you drive down the road and you just got that car, you start seeing that car everywhere. I didn't know they made that color in my car. Those rims are really cool. I wish I would have known that. I probably would have liked those rims instead of the ones I have. I'll consider that next time. Maybe I'll make an upgrade. You start seeing them everywhere because it became important to you. It's the same thing when we create an ultimate vision for your business. So create the ultimate vision for your business. What is that ultimate vision that you have for your business in 5 years? And then the next question is, what is the ultimate purpose of your business in 5 years? What is that ultimate purpose? Like, is it my ultimate purpose is to create the ultimate amount of freedom and flexibility in this business where I have a purpose of helping other people, but now I'm able to spend more time with my family because I've created passive income, I've created investments, I have an active real estate business, I have a small team of people, I do it all myself, I manage rentals, I sell nothing but vacation properties, whatever that is, what is the ultimate purpose? Because this is how it makes me feel. The ultimate purpose is to create this life for me, for my family, for my kids, that feeling of security, that freedom, that feeling of freedom, that feeling of success, that feeling of worthiness. What is the ultimate purpose? What are the feelings you're going to feel when you create that ultimate vision of your business in 5 years from now? Because motion comes from emotion. Motion comes from emotion. Notice the words emotion, motion. If we create enough emotion around something, it starts to push us. And is it easier to push something than to pull something sometimes? If I push it, I can put all my weight into it. But then other times, sometimes you want to be pulled towards something. So we just have to create different levels of attraction with an ultimate vision and an ultimate purpose. If you don't know those things, that's your first step. You have to start creating that. And I'm telling you right now, one of the reasons you don't have all the things that you want in this life and in this business is because all you're focusing on is all the BS reasons why you can't have them, and not on the ultimate vision and the ultimate purpose that you want out of it. That is the biggest reason that you don't have them, because you have not created this vision. You have not created this purpose. You haven't focused on that. You're focusing on all the reasons that you can't have it. And a lot of you are going to say, I'm not focusing on why I can't have it. I'm focusing on this and this and this. And, because it doesn't mean I still have a family and I still have a, you're right. You do, but you also have a choice. You still have all of those things going on, but you also have a choice on which ones you're going to focus on. It doesn't mean you ignore them. It means I choose to focus on this because this is going to create a better quality of life, which will allow me to deal with these things in a better fashion. So now I'm going to create the life that I want, because as I'm living this life, I can manage these circumstances much easier, manage my mindset around these circumstances. But I created the life that I live in to be able to do that. What are some of the other questions? So once you create the ultimate vision and your ultimate purpose, then you have to know, what roles do you have to show up as in order to live this vision and this purpose? So who would you have to show up as every day? That person who has that vision and that purpose. Put yourself 5 years from now in that place. This is the life I'm living. This is the business I have. I'm feeling that security. I'm feeling that freedom. I'm feeling that pride of doing everything I said I was going to do. How does that person show up every day? Tell me how that person shows up. Tell me the roles that person shows up in. And start creating those roles now. Because if you show up as that person in the future, today, do you think that you'll be more drawn to those same things? Because you're not showing up as that person right now. If you showed up as the person who already had those things, who already did all of the things to get those outcomes, think that you will have a quicker road to those outcomes? The answer is yes. So if you don't think that, then maybe we have some more talks to have. But what roles do you have to show up as in order to live that purpose, in order to have that vision? Who is that person that lives that vision? How does that person show up? Who do they show up as? What roles do they show up as? Then for your business, what are three things to thrive? What are 3 things you have to do in order to thrive in your business and in this area of your life? Nick, have a great day, brother. What are 3 things you have to do? 3 things you'd have to do in order to thrive in this area of your life today in your business to create that vision in 5 years from now. What are 3 things that you would have to do? What 3 things you'd have to start doing? 3 things you'd have to stop doing? 3 things you'd have to do more of? In order to create that person, in order to show up as that person, this is the role that I would show up as for that. This is the person I would show up as. What are 3 things you would have to start doing in order to thrive in your business? 3 things you'd have to stop doing in order to thrive in your business, and 3 things you'd have to do more of in order to thrive in your business. And then here's a little secret. Start doing them. Just simple things, because we're not looking to change the world in one day. What we're looking to do is make 2 millimeter steps every day towards that goal. 2 millimeters, small changes every single day. Adding them up, adding up, adding up, compounding. We easily allow the snowball effect. I had a question yesterday. Why is it so easy to get off track? Like I can be so good and I'm doing so amazing and I'm killing it. One bad thing happens and it snowballs out of place and I fall off track. And then for me to get back on track, it's so hard. It's so difficult to get back on. One day and I got off track, but one day and I don't get back on track. I would challenge that and tell you that's not true. Your brain is meant to keep you safe, not successful. So whenever you start falling off track, that one day that got you off track and then another day, you're compounding. You're focusing on the one thing that got you off track. You're focusing on that. And then every day, small little increments of momentum keep getting you off track and it snowballs. But you don't allow the momentum to build you up in the opposite direction. You do one thing and you wonder why the world hasn't changed around you. You have to do the same thing that got you off track to get on track. You didn't gain 20 pounds in one day. You're not going to lose 20 pounds in one day. So we have to allow the momentum every single day to work in our favor as well. Use our minds that you said that you get to decide what you focus on and decide what you feel and choose your outcomes. Use your mind to choose to focus on the momentum every day rather than the momentum of going downhill. We have to focus on the positive. We have to focus on the gratitude. We have to focus on the progress because progress equals happiness. If we give ourselves a little bit of focus on what we made progress on today, you will have a better outcome at the end of the day. But if you focus on, God, that was so hard. I know I did this today, but it didn't get me the outcome that I wanted. Why is it so difficult? Why is it so hard? Why was it so easy to get off track but not get back on track? That's not going to work. So again, 3 things you need to focus on, 3 things you're going to start doing, 3 things you're going to stop doing, 3 things you need to do more of to thrive in this area of your business. What are they? I got back on track today. Damn right. I love it. Got up early and went for a walk. Yes, ma'am. I love it. Thanks, Whippa. Next, what resources do you have accessible to you right now to achieve this? Ultimate vision, 5-year plan, ultimate purpose, 5-year plan. Who do I got to show up as? What are 3 things I need to start doing, stop doing, do more of? And then what resources are already there for me? What are the things that are already in place that I could start tapping into right now to start creating that? What are they? Well, I've got this service that I can pay $50 for to get some expired listings. And I can start calling them every single day. There's a resource, really quick, easy resource. I don't want to spend the money. I've got Remind. I can go find that. What are the resources available to you right now? I've got a built-in free coach that will work with me on a daily basis, weekly basis, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever you wanted to do. I've got a built-in coach that I don't have to pay for, so I don't have to go to Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, Jared James, or any of them and pay $500 to $1,000 a month. I've got a free one that I can use in my managers and in my resources available to me within the brokerage that'll help me. And I can do that today, starting now. What resources do you have available to you? We've got other top agents that would be willing to sit down and chat with you and mentor. There's tons of groups around, mastermind groups, investment groups. There's so many resources you have available to you. You just need to sit down and list them out and find out what they are, get very clear on them and start engaging with them. Then back to Danielle's point about end of year goals. What are your 1-year goals and what are your quarterly goals? So what is your ultimate 5-year vision and purpose? And then at the end of 12 months, what's your goal? And then at the end of this quarter, what's your goal? Break it down, make it easier, make it chunked down and say, okay, at the end of this quarter, I'll do this. At the end of the year, I'll have this. Because if I show up as that person and I use these resources and I'm this clear on my outcome and I start doing these things, I stop doing those things and I do more of these things, I'm going to create a better outcome. And I'm not meaning to try to make this seem so trivial or simple, but it really is. We just don't put the work in. We put the work in to spiral the other way. We choose that focus, but we don't put the work in to spiral the opposite way. It's a success cycle. You believe that the market is crashing, the interest rates are this commission lawsuit's going to do whatever. The more you think of it, the more you believe it. The more you believe it, the more potential you have in that direction. So if you think everything's going bad, there's potential that the action you're going to take is not going to be as good, and the action you take determines the results. Those results aren't going to be as good. And then those results reinstill the belief, see, I told you that was going to be a problem. See, I told you that it wasn't going to work and you were going to hear that objection. Rather than saying, so, I believe that I'm the creator of my life, not the manager of my circumstances, and I'm going to decide what I'm going to do today and the outcomes I'm going to have. And I'm not going to stop till I get the outcome that I want today. I've got 2 hours to sit down and make nothing but phone calls, and I'm going to do that. And if I don't get it in 2 hours, I've got another hour later today, and I'll do that. And if I don't get that, then tomorrow I'm going to aim for 2. And I'm going to keep doing that until I get one buyer or seller in my pipeline every single week that's going to transact with me in the next 6 to 12 months. That's a belief with potential that I'm going to show up and do that. That's a very strong potential. And that potential breeds an action that's going to be much stronger than the other side. And that action I take is going to reinstate. See, I told you, if you shut up like that and you did that and you kept doing that, this is the outcome you would get. Great job. Do it again. And we're going to keep doing that. So what are your quarterly goals? What are your yearly goals? Coaching is essential. There's a coaching form in Dotloop that assists you in setting goals and reflecting while informing your coach and manager. 100%. I'm not certain how to actually get that goal though. Well, Danielle, right here, this step, and I'm going to challenge you for a minute, so please don't get mad at me. This step right here, instead of focusing on, I'm not sure how to do that, follow these steps and you would do that. What is the ultimate vision for your business? What's the ultimate purpose? Let's find out what that is. And then we start creating all these other things. You'll start creating a different level of emotion about the business that you want. You'll start creating a different feeling about the outcomes that you have, and they come easier when you're not thinking in a combative thought process of, I don't know, I'm not sure, I can't really think of what that would be, I don't know where to come up with that number, I've always done this, but it hasn't worked. But if we're feeling that this is my vision, this is my purpose, this is what I want, this is who I'm going to show up as, these are the things I got to do. Here are the 3 things I'll start doing, stop doing, do more of. And you start, I'm going to show up as this person every day. Now, all of a sudden, okay, so what are those goals? You start spitting them out much quicker because you get into a flow state. You get in touch with your brain and your heart, and we start getting them aligned. They start firing on the same frequencies. And now all of a sudden they're coherent. They're sending out a coherent signal to the universe and everything around you. Things start aligning, and we start asking questions, and we start answering questions much faster. And we start answering those questions with a level of certainty that we haven't had before when you go through processes like this, and you really take them seriously, and you sit down and you create a different level of emotion to them. So that's where this can really become powerful. I've got other questions here. I'm going to breeze through these because I only got a couple minutes. But like I said, if anybody wants these, I'm happy to send them to you. What 3 things would have to happen for you to consider a success? Like Danielle, these will help you. What 3 things would have to happen for you to consider it a success this year by the end of 12 months? What are 3 things you would have to change in your life to achieve these 3 things? So the 3 things that you want to happen at the end of this 12 months, what are 3 things you'd have to change in order to achieve that? Who would benefit most from you doing these things? Who would benefit most from you achieving those 3 things that you said would have to happen for it to be a success? How would it make you feel to be able to achieve that and provide that benefit to them? Who stands to lose the most if you do not achieve these goals? Driven by pain and pleasure. We got pleasure right here, and we got pain here. There's a saying that goes, when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change, only then will someone change. So who stands to lose the most? What are 3 limiting beliefs that have held you back in the past from achieving those? How have they affected your life, your business, your family, whatever we're focusing on in that moment? What would your life be like if you completely obliterated these beliefs? Victor, repeat which part? Oh, so the saying is, when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of changing, only then will someone change. Why else would someone continue to smoke who doesn't want to smoke anymore, who knows it's disgusting, knows it's miserable, knows it creates these problems, they're unhealthy, someone who's developed cancer, who keeps smoking, who keeps doing those things, they know they should quit, they want to quit, but they don't because the pain is too great to change still. They're focusing on the pain of changing, the pain of having to stop, the pain of having to do this, the pain of having it, and then I can't this, and I won't get to enjoy that. I get to step outside and I get to do this, that, and the other. So when the pain of remaining the same becomes greater than the pain of changing, only then will someone change. And this is the hardest one that people have, what are the 3 greatest qualities that have propelled you to this point in your life? What are your 3 greatest qualities that have propelled you right to this point right now? What are 2 decisions you've made in the past that have positively shaped your life? At any time, what are decisions that you made? And how did you come to those decisions? What made you make those decisions? And I guarantee it was, I made a decision because I was no longer going to do that, or I had to change something because I couldn't live like that anymore. The pain of staying the same became greater than the pain of taking those next steps. I will no longer live like that because this is the life I'm going to create. And I'm willing to go through the pain of change because staying the same is much greater pain. And how did that change your life for the better? What finally got you to decide? And then what are 2 decisions you're committed to making right now to make this year a success? Like I said, if anybody wants these slides, I'll share them with you. Send me an email. I'm not going to remember if you chatted in, please send them to me. So please send me an email. I will share them to you. If anybody would like some assistance in walking through these and actually going through a coaching session where we take about 30 minutes and go through this, that's fine. I'd be happy to do that with you so we can try to create some emotion and clarity there. Let me know. I'll try to get back to every single one of you. And like I said, please send me an email. I'm not going to remember if you chatted in here. So send me an email, chrisreed@c21be.com, and I'd be happy to send them to you. And then if you would like to schedule something after that, just reply to me and say, I'd love to get on your schedule for 30 minutes and we'll work through this. We have to create a different level of focus and clarity. We have to create a different outcome for you. We have to shift and change our focus. We cannot continue to focus on all of the things that are circumstances in our life. We have to start focusing on creating the life that we want, which means we have to make better decisions. We have to have some clarity, focus, and then take action and be held accountable. Happy Wednesday, November 1st.